why pick a team from the banking sector to come into logistics? Why did that happen? Why was there? I can understand that perhaps at that time there weren't enough professional managers in logistics because maybe there was a couple of international players, there was smaller local players. A lot of them came from TCS in itself. But why banking? I mean, you could have picked any sector.
Yeah. Again, that's a very specific instance. It wasn't like there was a thought process that we need to get people from banking per se. It's just that at that time, the person who happened to be selected by my father for his own reasons at that point in time happened to be from the banking sector, and he brought with him a team that was largely banking sector. Also, if I may, I think that when you talk about consumer banking and you talk about, the spread of services across different sectors of the economy, arguably there is a certain degree of conceptual overlap between a business of our nature and we look at, for example, our footprint across the country. It's not as extensive as some of the banks, but we tend to service almost every bank branch. So there is a certain synergy between banking and logistics. And so, this mindset of serving the consumer, the Pakistani consumer, was very much part of the thinking, in addition to a certain thinking at that time in terms of the model of branchless banking that also
Right.
played into the model at the time.
And that's when e-commerce was just picking up. 3G, 4G services had just come out in Pakistan in 2014.
Yes.
Sort of things were on the up and up when it came to sort of digitizing and e-commerce and all of that.
Yes, absolutely.
So the question then it takes the question that comes to mind next is when you do bring in professional management, right? And let's say you are a family business and you've been around for a while, and you bring in professional management and you found someone from the right sector with the right experience and so on. There are examples globally where you give some sort of an equity ownership earn-out structure, right? Where over a 3-4 year period, your shares can vest and you're a part owner of that company as well. Does that model work in Pakistan?
I think there's no reason why that model shouldn't work. We tried a different model. I think that the jury is still out on which is the best model. I personally do believe that management can be very effectively incentivized, with sort of ESOPs and equity plans. Remember, in my previous life, I was also a corporate lawyer and spent a great deal of time really looking at M&A transactions where ESOPs are put into place as a big incentivizing force. I've seen that work very effectively in the West. Have I really seen it? I don't have a specific example where it's worked in Pakistan. I've also been very just focused on our own dynamics, so I haven't explored this.
Right.
At some point, I think the short answer is yes. I think there's no reason why it cannot. In our business, at this particular point in time, we're following a slightly different model. I think management, but management does need to be incentivized.